Good day, listeners. Welcome to the world of Chandamama. Today, I am going to read a story from King Vikramaditya and the Betala series. Let's begin. Conflict of Faiths. King Vikramaditya, with determination once again, climbed the tree, placed the corpse on his shoulders, and set off for the graveyard. The Betala, who possessed the corpse, spoke once again. O king, your stubbornness makes me fear that you are quite mad. There is a limit to any normal person's patience, but yours seems to have no limit at all. And that, I think, is quite foolish. I keep trying to explain to you that your life is in danger in this desolate place. There are many wild and ferocious animals that can attack you at any time. Only a fool will wander around here so freely and fearlessly. You seem to have no intention of going back to your kingdom at all. Maybe you have forgotten that you are a king and have some royal duties to perform. Or have you come here from your kingdom to escape your problems there? Listen to my advice and go back to your kingdom and face whatever you have run away from. There was a king called Shantanu who also had to face a lot of problems in his kingdom. One day he thought he had found a neat solution to his problems, but that was only his self deception. Listen to his story to while away the time during your long walk. The Betala then went on to narrate King Shantanu's story. A long time ago, Shantanu was the king of Vidarbha. He was a good king and the kingdom was prosperous. There was only one problem. The kingdom was beset with disputes and quarrels caused by religion. The devotees of Shiva and those of Vishnu would pick a quarrel on the smallest of issues and create riots or go for a fight on the streets. They would attack each other and damage each other's properties. Shantanu realized that if such a situation was allowed to go on, his enemies would take advantage of the situation and attack Vidarbha. When he sought advice from his ministers, he got contradictory suggestions depending on the group to which the minister belonged. When Shantanu's wife Vivekavati learnt of the problem the king was wrestling with, she asked, "My lord, do tell me, are you a Shiva devotee or a Vishnu devotee? I am interested only in the welfare of my state. My subjects are devotees of both Shiva and Vishnu, so I worship and revere both the gods." "Well," said his queen, "our Puranas say that though God is seen in many forms, there is only one God. Our tradition is to see and worship Shiva in Vishnu and Vishnu in Shiva. To establish that Shiva and Vishnu are one, we have temples for the single form of Harihara. Those temples are lying neglected now. You should promote the worship of Harihara, and perhaps people will not then fight about who is greater, Shiva or Vishnu." King Shantanu smiled slightly and said, "It's not very difficult to tell the people that Shiva and Vishnu are one and that God is one. But some selfish people who want to spread unhappiness and confusion in the land will not let such a message spread among the people. They may even call me an atheist and stir up a revolution in the land. I will then have to use the army against the people. That would be completely against my principles. Don't go to the people as their king, but as a sage or yogi. You can call yourself Hariharnath and preach the oneness of Shiva and Vishnu," suggested Vivekavati. When these dissatisfied men are trying to turn the people against their king, can they be held back by a yogi? Then, if the truth be known or if they harm me, Will not the whole land be plunged into chaos? Argued the king. Vivekavati had an answer for that as well. When she was very young, she had waited upon a holy guest with a great deal of care and devotion. Pleased with her, he had given her a magic ring. The queen now brought that ring to the king and said, I have kept this ring carefully all these years. The time has now come for its use. Whoever wears this ring will be safe in any kind of danger caused by man or nature, nor will any weapon hurt him, provided it is worn to help others. Please use it for the good of the people. The king was very pleased with his wife. He wore the ring and at once became a yogi wearing a long white beard. Sure that he would not be recognized, the king went out into the kingdom to try preach to the people and show them their shortcomings. He went around telling everyone that Shiva and Vishnu are one and that they are only different forms of the same god. And if they worshipped Harihara, they would be worshipping both Shiva and Vishnu. The evil men who were trying to stir up trouble in the land told people not to believe the yogi. In fact, they even got people to throw stones at him and attack him in many ways. But like Prahalada, the yogi remained unharmed, thanks to the magic ring he wore. Unlike Hiranyakashipu, the people slowly started accepting the yogi. The attitude of the people changed. They saw the truth in what the yogi was saying and became more tolerant. The selfish and wicked people who had tried to stir up a trouble realized that their game was up and went away to try their tricks elsewhere. The king was very happy with the success of his mission and decided to return to his capital. As he was walking through a deserted place, a young man attacked him viciously. The king was strong enough to hold the youth with one hand. He said, I am Hariharnath and have extraordinary powers. I am a yogi. You knew that and still decided to attack me. I am not angry with you, but would like to know why you attacked me. The youth looked at him with hatred and contempt in his eyes and said, I know who you are and what your aim is. In fact, that is why I attacked you. The root cause of the confusion that prevails in our land is belief and faith in God. For a country to be prosperous, its people should not have any blind faith. You have sorted out the divisions and fights due to this faith, but have not got rid of their faith in God. You have only made it stronger. This is your fault. Shantanu said, most people in this world believe in God. Faith in God is something wonderful. A lot of good work gets done in this world because of faith. Certainly, sometimes this faith turns blind and people then forget their humility. They become uncivilized and dangerous. At such times, it is necessary for someone to lead them back to the correct path. That is why I have been preaching the oneness of God. The young man then read out a poem he had written. Shantanu was impressed. He told the young man, you have written a very good poem. It is a good piece of literature. If you read it out to the king, he'll be pleased and will reward you. The king then returned to his capital. One day he was holding court when the youth entered. He took the king's permission and read out a poem. When he had finished, the whole court rang out with applause and praise. Everyone remarked it was a brilliant poem. Looking very pleased, the king said, Son, you have written a truly magnificent poem. It is worth 10,000 gold coins. But before the king could do or say anything more, one of the ministers whispered, Your Majesty, this poem may be brilliant, but it speaks against God and faith in Him. Most of our people are believers in God, and they will be hurt and upset by such ideas. And so, I think the poet should not be rewarded by the state. Shantanu nodded in agreement and asked the young poet to meet him privately. When they met, the king said, Without doubt, your poem is very good, even brilliant. If you want to spread your ideas and beliefs through your poems, I can give you powers to do that. But that power should only be used for the good of the people. The youth refused the king's offer. Everyone cannot be a yogi. I want to be able to write great works. That is where my talent lies. If I am appreciated in this kingdom and by the king, I will continue to write. Otherwise, I may do some other kind of work. Shantanu then gave him a beautiful painting and said, Take this painting to the jeweler Ratnakar. He will give you 10,000 gold coins for it. You can then write more poems and bring them to me. By that time, I would have painted more pictures. But please do not tell Ratnakar where you got the painting from or who the artist is. The youth was very surprised. Your Majesty, he asked, why should you sell your painting to give me a reward? Is the treasure empty? Or is it that you do not honor poets and artists in this land? Shantanu laughed and said, No, that's not true. The king is not the kingdom. He has to rule according to the wishes of the people. Your poem has not found favor with the public, so I cannot reward you with the public money. However, I personally appreciate your poem. That is why I would like to reward you with the money I might earn personally through my art. Take this painting to Ratnakar, for he is an art lover and will give the true value for it. But please do not reveal my name. If he knows I am the artist, he will inflate the value of the painting, but I would like it to go for its real price. The youth folded his hands and said, Your Majesty, I didn't ever imagine that there could be a king like you. I am an atheist, but I can see God in you. I will not look for any honor in future. You are my ideal now, and I shall earn my own livelihood. The king put his arm around his shoulders and said, Poets like you are needed to ensure that the people are not swayed by foolish ideas or emotions. If we are not able to honor poets like you, then where will people like me get the inspiration to paint pictures? Any artistic talent must have a chance to bloom. My painting can encourage your writing, and if you can see God in me, then your poems will do good in the world. Take this painting to Ratnakar. Even if he were to insist, please do not reveal my name to him. The youth humbly said, Your Majesty, you were not able to honor me in the open court, but I consider this honor even greater. I will follow your advice faithfully all my life, and I am sure I will be able to receive an honor in public from you someday. The Betala finished the story and then asked the king, Administering a kingdom is like walking on a tightrope. A nation is made of all kinds of people with all kinds of beliefs, and naturally they fight with each other. It is important for a king to deal with such things firmly so that they don't get out of hand. People who talk sweetly into obedience is a very short-term solution if that's possible at all. Don't you think Shantanu was basking in false confidence when he felt he had solved the problem of religious fights in the kingdom? Wasn't his belief self-deception? If you know the answers to my questions and yet decide to keep quiet, your head will explode into 1,000 pieces. King Vikram said, human society is always changing. As soon as one problem is solved, another will come up. A wise king will try and sort out the differences among his subjects by persuasion or discussion. This is what Shantanu did. You can't punish people for having different ideas or disagreeing with their ideas. The king has to keep a watch and not allow the situation to get out of hand. There are no permanent solutions to such problems. As soon as the king broke his silence, the Betala with the corpse flew back to the ancient tree, and King Vikramaditya drew his sword and went after the Betala. Friends, I think King Vikramaditya's answer was very balanced and a logical one, apt even in our day to day lives. What are your thoughts? Do ponder. Let's meet again with the next Chandamama story. Until then, this is Ramya signing off.